This past summer, a promising Major League Baseball career came to an abrupt end when Los Angeles Angels pitcher Tyler Skaggs was found dead in a hotel room. At the time, Skaggs' death was a complete mystery, but now an autopsy has revealed what happened. Skaggs is one of the latest and most high-profile victims of America's opioid epidemic. Skaggs choked to death on his own vomit after overdosing on a combination of alcohol, oxycodone, and fentanyl. Fentanyl, you've heard the word. Over the last decade, fentanyl has become a drug superweapon that is devastating communities across the country. Just a few grains are enough to kill a man. According to the CDC, from 2000 to 2012, fentanyl was involved in about 2% of overdose deaths in this country. By 2017, it was involved in 57% of overdose deaths. That year alone, 40,000 Americans died with fentanyl in their systems. So where does this drug come from? Who's sending it here? Well, cocaine, as you know, grows in Latin America. Meth is often mixed in garage labs. But an overwhelming amount of fentanyl and the chemicals that make it come from China. According to an ICE agent who testified before Congress in May 2018, fentanyl and its precursors are mostly produced in China, then sent to America through the mail service. China banned fentanyl earlier this year, and it says the flow of fentanyl out of the country has stopped. But that's a lie. Just last week, Zachary Terwilliger, the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, busted a fentanyl smuggling ring. Agents seized enough fentanyl to kill 14 million. The vast majority of the drug came from China. China is a police state. They're able to use facial recognition technology to find members of certain ethnic groups and put them in prison, and they do. They're able to censor the internet for more than 1 billion people. They have control of what happens within their borders. If China wanted to stop the mass exportation of fentanyl, China could do that. China doesn't want to do that. That's why it's still coming here. A lot of it through Mexico, by the way. 15 years ago, America invaded Iraq to remove weapons of mass destruction. It turns out those weapons didn't exist. But unlike Iraq, China really is manufacturing a weapon of mass destruction, and they're using it to kill thousands and thousands of Americans right here in the homeland. And yet, for some reason, this time around, our leaders don't care. It's not hard to guess why China has no sympathy for America's population, why they don't care that they're poisoning our young people. China is a rising superpower. It plans to displace the United States as the world's strongest country. Bill Gertz is a senior editor at the Washington Free Beacon. He's author of the new book, Deceiving the Sky, Inside Communist China's Drive for Global Supremacy. He joins us now for his first TV interview about that book. Bill, great to see you tonight. So if you could give us, we've done a bunch of segments on China, but you've dived so deeply into this. Give us the overview. Where would you say China is right now in its effort to overtake the United States?
Well, just the other night, you had a segment quoting the Democratic presidential candidates as saying climate change is an existential threat. That's not true.
Yes.
The real existential threat is communist China. And it's going to take all of America's will, policy, focus, and effort to mitigate that threat. We are in real trouble. China is on the march. Xi Jinping has shifted the old policy of Deng Xiaoping, which was bide our time, build our capabilities. They're now out front. He has something called the China Dream, which is really a Chinese communist nightmare. And they're on the move. They're doing this Belt and Road Initiative, which is a cover for military and economic expansionism around the world.
Can I ask you, I mean, the assumption has been, I think, among American politicians and business leaders that we can just coexist. And sure, they're getting more powerful, but we're fine and we can both kind of run the world together. Do you think that's true?
Absolutely false. Yeah, you know, the whole policy of engagement has been basically a 40-year gamble that if we just trade and engage China, that this will turn it into a benign, free market, open system. Well, it's utterly failed. Going back to the Clinton administration, for example, they had this idea that we should engage on nuclear cooperation and space cooperation. What happened? They ended up stealing nuclear secrets on every deployed U.S. warhead. That technology was then spread to Pakistan, Iran, North Korea, and other places. We helped their missiles, and now their missiles are aimed at our cities. They have an array of long-range and short-range and intermediate-range missiles. This is a real problem.
So, Bill, I wish we had more time for this, and I hope you will come back.
Sure.
Quickly, if you're China, you look at Trump, he's the first American president ever really to call your bluff and challenge you. Aren't you going to do everything you can to tank the U.S. economy before the election so that he won't be reelected?
Absolutely. They're definitely going to try that. They're already working in the farm states. They're working against the whiskey industry in the United States to undermine Trump. They want a different president. That's what Vice President Pence said last fall.
Yeah. You just know that that's true. Bill Gertz, congratulations on the book. I hope it's read by millions. Truly.
Thank you.